in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how you guys can get the disco mutation on all of your fruits inside of Roblox Grow a Garden. This mutation right here is absolutely insanely rare. It can make your fruit crazy expensive. So before we actually get in the video, be sure to drop a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel with that notification bell turned on so you never miss out on anything with Grow a Garden. Things happen so fast inside of this game and you don't want to get left behind, so make sure you guys subscribe to stay updated. But let's hop straight into how you guys can actually get this mutation right here, and it's probably the rarest mutation inside of the game. In fact, I'm actually kind of curious to know how much this frozen disco coconut will sell for. Probably not a lot, but I'm gonna say I want to sell this. How much is it gonna be worth? 61,000. That's not bad for one single fruit, I guess. Now, each mutation inside of the game has their own specific multiplier. The more mutations you have on your fruits, obviously the more valuable they're going to be. But the disco mutation is by far the best mutation inside of the game, a little bit higher than the celestial. Celestial is pretty good, but it's not as good as the disco. But if you have both of them, then you have a very, very expensive fruit. But there's one thing about the disco that a lot of players don't know, and that it's not random. It can only be spawned by admins or developers inside of the game. But when it does happen, it pretty much happens in every single lobby. But you're probably wondering, when is the best time to actually play? Because obviously we can't be playing 24/7. Well, I guess technically you can, because you could just leave Roblox on. But anyway, the best time to get the disco mutation, as you guys can see, I have a few over here. I have some other ones on my plot as well. I got these at the beginning of the last update. So I actually joined Grow a Garden about 30 minutes before the update, and the admins were going crazy and just giving out so many disco mutations, disco events, where that's probably the best time to do it. Now, they don't just do it right before updates. Sometimes they do them after updates, and sometimes they just do them randomly throughout the day. So honestly, if you want the best chance of getting a disco mutation, your best bet is to probably just join before an update. But also, if you're active in-game and you're actually play in-game a lot, although your garden does grow offline, it's still very good to play in-game because you don't want to miss out on any of those weather events, specifically the disco events that happens. But as I mentioned, the disco events can only be spawned by admins, but when admins are most active and developers is right before an update, when everyone's hyped up. Last weekend there was like 8 million players online at one time, and like a lot of players ended up getting the disco mutation, which was super awesome. And also this trophy, comment down below if you guys got this trophy. I'm curious to know how many people got this. This was for the Monster Mash event, and during this event the disco mutation was given out left and right. But all in all, your best bet to get the disco mutation is by simply playing before updates, and it's also kind of luck based like pretty much everything else inside of this game, but it's not on the normal rotations as the other weather events. This can only be spawned by admins. So whenever admins are online or developers and they feel like giving out the disco event, that's when it is. But I feel like they're not going to give it out a lot just because they want to keep it, you know, decently rare inside of the game. But as I mentioned, probably the best bet, at least when I got my disco mutated fruits, was right before an update. So right before this weekend's update, they're releasing a B event. I would join the game first off before the update drops, because last time it was kind of even hard to get into a game just because of how many players were actually active on Grow a Garden. It was literally breaking Roblox. So I recommend joining like 30 minutes before the update drops, so that way you can actually get these exclusive disco mutations, because that's probably the most likely chance. But other than that, if you're playing, you might also just randomly come across a disco mutation. Like, there's been a couple of times where it's ran in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, just randomly throughout the week. So just be aware of that as well. But that right there is how you guys can get the disco mutated fruit inside of the game. Hopefully this weekend I'll be able to get these moon mangoes, disco, and frozen, and celestial would be awesome. So that way I could try to sell these, because I spent $1 billion on this moon mango tree. This thing was absolutely expensive and I have to make my money back on it somehow. But let me know down below how you guys got your disco mutated fruits. Be sure to drop a big thumbs up and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel with that notification bell turned on. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out and goodbye.